Lori here. I'm back. I'm here to start a new reading vlog. So it is August 11th. I have about 4 more weeks until I'm officially back in school. But normally around this time, I do start kind of planning, and I kind of give myself a few days each week that I kind of devote myself to that. So for like the first half of the day, I'm going to be doing a bunch of school stuff, and second half I'll be reading. But the book I just started, this is also the week I'm going to focus on all my arcs. It is ARC August, and I have a bunch of arcs on my TBR, so I'm going to kind of focus on that this week. So the book that I picked up, which is actually the book for the Time Warp YA Book Club, is The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Charlotte. I did wind up reading her first book, Boarded Queens. I liked it. I didn't love it. But I got this last year at New York City Comic Con, and it's like a water-themed thriller novel. I'm only like 4 pages in, so I can't give you that much information about it. But I am going to go back and do some work, kind of organize everything. I left my computer a freaking disaster the end of last year at the end of remote learning because I was so over looking at a computer screen. So I'm kind of going through everything that I have on both my computers and kind of making a list of all the materials that I have and then kind of planning that way. It's going to be a little bit different what I do this year, so I just want to have like kind of like a guidepost of like make sense for me. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll check in with you guys when I'm done with my work, and I'll kind of review what I did. If any of you guys are art teachers or theater teachers, this might be interesting, but just in general, I'll probably talk through it just because it's what I'm doing. But yeah, when I'm done with my work for the day, I'll come in and check in with you guys, and then I'll get to start on The Vanishing Deep. Bye. Guys, Laura here, I'm back. It's almost 6 o'clock. I did actually wind up reading a little bit of The Vanishing Deep. I'm only on page 14, which is really not that far. But I did wind up doing a bunch of work for school, which is important. I said this before, but we're still like kind of in the middle of like limbo, like what's gonna happen. So I'm kind of planning on 4 different fronts, like for 4 different options. So it's a lot. Sorry, I look all sweaty. I just worked out. But I do actually want to try to read a little bit more of The Vanishing Deep before I give you guys my thoughts. But so far I'm really liking it. But yeah. So I'm gonna go read for a little bit, and I'll update you guys when I feel like a little bit more. Maybe when I get to page like 50, I'll probably update you guys because it's still very, very mysterious. I'm liking it, but I just don't feel like I have enough information, and I really didn't read the back because the summary seemed very, very spoiler to me, so I didn't want to know too much going in. But I'll report back when I make a little more reading progress. Bye. Hey, Lori here. I'm back. It's 7:06. I've been watching a lot of news for obvious reasons, but that's kind of been on in the background noise. But I did want to say that I have been reading The Vanishing Deep as I've been watching the news. I am on page 34. I feel like I give you guys a brief understanding of what's happening. So it's set in this world where it's like mostly like there's a lot of stuff underwater, and there's like a scavenging society. And when someone dies, their body is basically held in like limbo, and you can basically get them resurrected for 24 hours. But you have to pay. So you follow 2 point of views. You follow Tempest, whose sister is someone that she wants to be revived because she thinks her sister killed her parents. That's kind of the dynamic between that. And then you have another character named Lore, who works at this facility that runs that works at the facility where the bodies are resurrected, and he is involved like in the behind the scenes stuff, and he has kind of a tragic past that's also very, very involved in death. And right at the point in the book, this is the point where she gets enough money to have her sister revived. So really liking it. I'm very captivated by the world. The one problem I had with Boarded Queens is I felt like there was a lot of different worlds that kind of all came together and didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I like that in this book there's one world that seems very, very fleshed out and very, very believable. I like that we have 2 different point of view characters. I'm really enjoying that. And I'm just going to keep reading. So I'll report back when I make a little bit more progress. I don't know, probably when I get up to page 50. But today I did a lot of work for school, and I was outside all day. But I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I did make a bunch of work. So that's good. I did go to yoga this morning, which is why I started this vlog so late. But I'm going to go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Here I'm back. It's about 9:02 on August 12th. I did actually wind up reading a little bit more of The Vanishing Deep last night, but not a lot. It was not my best reading day, I will say that. I did spend a lot of yesterday prepping for school, and that's just going to be the nature of the beast now that I do have stuff to do for that. But I'm also trying to have a nice work-life balance, which I always struggle with during the year. It gets like it stresses me out a lot, I'll be honest. I get super stressed out, and I think because I'm so unsure about the fall, it's causing like a lot of anxiety because I feel like I have to plan like 4 different curriculums and not knowing any of them are going to work is concerning. This is going to be my 3rd year of teaching, but every year has been so drastically different. My first year of teaching was my first year of teaching, and I really had no idea what the hell I was doing. My 2nd year of teaching, I felt like I had a solid plan of attack, and then COVID happened. And this year is going to be something even different than our COVID teaching style. So it's just a lot. And because I teach an art-based subject, and I work like a lot in groups, and we do a lot of performances, it's just a little bit different than what I was necessarily planning. So I'm really like waiting to see what happens, and I have a lot of tentative plans, but it's just anxiety inducing when I don't know which one's actually going to work. But yeah, so that kind of happened last night. Also, I always spent way too much hours watching the news, and I really need to stop that because it just produces more anxiety than it's really, really worth. So, what I think I'm gonna do is, because it's gonna get super hot today, I think I'm gonna go for a bike ride now, read in the park for a little bit, kind of relax, and then come back and kind of give myself a couple of hours where I am working on school stuff. But yeah, sometimes it's hard to find a balance. I'll be a little bit honest. Like I don't have the best work-life balance. So yeah, that's kind of where my head's at right now. But I do want to do some planning today, or at least start thinking about it. But yeah, so that's kind of my plans. I'm gonna go for a bike ride, kind of clear my head a little bit, come back and check in with you guys. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here, just checking back in. I actually did wind up reading about 60 pages, or up to 60 pages, in The Vanishing Deep. It's getting very interesting. I'm really intrigued, like, where it's gonna go. Like, I like that it's kind of dealing with, like, some unique topics. I like the unique setting. I said that before. I really struggled with her last book because I felt like the setting was, like, a hodgepodge of different things, and they didn't all make sense to me, or they felt like it was, like, trying to do too many things at once. But I'm loving the setting. I'm liking how we have 2 very different characters. Their paths are about to cross for the first time, which I'm really excited about. I think I'm gonna work out. I just came back from a bike ride, but I'm gonna do a quick workout, I think, and then I might read for a little bit, and then I'm gonna spend the afternoon doing my schoolwork, which is the plan of attack. So I'm really excited for that. I'll check in after I work out, and yeah, bye guys. Lori here. It's almost 2 o'clock. It is pouring raining outside. So I decided to change my plans a little bit. I'm not in the mood to do my homework. I'm just not. I'm not feeling it. So I'm not. Still summer. Still can enjoy my summer. So I'm going to take today off, which is what I don't normally do, but it will work. But I did wind up getting up to page about 88 in The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Charlotte. I'm really intrigued by this premise. I think it's very unique. I like the setting. I like that they're kind of dealing with awakening the dead. There are some secrets that both characters have that I'm really enjoying. We finally got to the crux. She has reconnected with her sister, and there are some secrets that they're both holding from each other, which I'm really enjoying. I also really like the other character, Lore, who's like the attendant in this, because I think he's also super interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Right here, it's about 3:17. I did wind up reading quite a little bit more. I wound up reading up to page about 130 in The Vanishing Deep. I always love books about sisters. That is one of my favorite tropes. Recently this year, I read Sisters of Shadow and Song, which I really wound up liking. This book does have a contemporary twist, but it's not in like a contemporary world, if that makes sense. But I'm really liking it. I like that there's a solid mystery that they're kind of solving together. There's also the added stressor of they only have 24 hours to accomplish this mission for various reasons. I do like that we do get 2 very, very different point of views, and I'm intrigued because it's not the sister's point of views you get like another point of view, who is probably going to be the one that's kind of be chasing them for the rest of the book. But I think that this is definitely diving into more of like a mystery thriller novel, which I normally really, really like. Her first book, Four Dead Queens, was like that. There was a very, very strong mystery in that book as well. So yeah, I'm really liking this. I'm liking this book a little bit more than Four Dead Queens. I said it before. I think I said it a few times. I struggled a little bit with the sorry, I was changing my angle. But I struggled a little bit with the complex world in that because I felt like it was very, very mishmashy. So when it gets to chapter 14, I am gonna read a little bit more, which is good. But yeah, I'll update you guys when I read, probably up to like 150. I haven't been reading a lot at the start of this month, and I'm really hoping to kind of like nip that in the bud and read a little bit more because this is my last real month off. Yeah, so I'm gonna go do that, and I'll update you guys when I get up to page 150. Bye guys. Hey guys, Lori here. I'm back. it's almost 6 o'clock. I did actually wind up reading a little bit more in The Vanishing Deep. I'm now on page about 184. Very, very good. It's the most I've read all week, which is really, really good. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm thinking it's a very, very solid story, a very, very solid mystery. I'm really, really liking the world. I'm liking both character groups that we have. I think it's heading for like a more of a mystery thriller aspect, and there's some twists that were already introduced that I was not expecting, which is good in a mystery because I'm normally very good at kind of inching them out and seeing what's happening. But really liking this. I love that it's so focused on sister friendships, like sister dynamics. I like that. There's also a lot of talk about grief and, feeling guilty. And there's also this whole element of bringing people back from the dead. And is that okay? We learned a little bit more about Laura's past, which I really enjoyed, and why he's so closed off, which I thought was very, very interesting. They're both dealing with grief in very, very different ways. But yeah, it's definitely not going, as of right now, the romantic route between Laura and the young lady. Sorry, I can't remember names. But really liking it. I'm going to go back to reading and I'll update you guys when I read a little bit more. Bye. Hey, Lori here. I'm back. It's 7:06. I've been watching a lot of news for obvious reasons, but that's kind of been on in the background noise. But I did want to say that I have been reading The Vanishing Deep as I've been watching the news. I am on page 34. I feel like I give you guys a brief understanding of what's happening. So it's set in this world where it's like mostly like there's a lot of stuff underwater, and there's like a scavenging society. And when someone dies, their body is basically held in like limbo, and you can basically get them resurrected for 24 hours. But you have to pay. So you follow two point of views. You follow Tempest, whose sister is someone that she wants to be revived because she thinks her sister killed her parents. That's kind of the dynamic between that. And then you have another character named Lore, who works at the facility that works at the facility where the bodies are resurrected, and he is involved like in the behind the scenes stuff, and he has kind of a tragic past that's also very, very involved in death. And right at the point in the book, this is the point where she gets enough money to have her sister revived. So really liking it. I'm very captivated by the world. The one problem I had with Boarded Queens is I felt like there was a lot of different worlds that kind of all came together and didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I like that in this book there's one world that seems very, very fleshed out and very, very believable. I like that we have two different point of view characters. I'm really enjoying that. And I'm just going to keep reading. So I'll report back when I make a little bit more progress. I don't know, probably when I get up to page 50. But today I did a lot of work for school and I was outside all day. But I didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I did make a bunch of work. So that's good. I did go to yoga this morning, which is why I started this vlog so late. But I'm going to go back to reading and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Hey, Lori here. I just want to do a quick check-in. I am going to go to a Zoom meetup that I promised I would attend. But I did wind up reading about 210 pages in The Vanishing Deep. It's very, very much a fast-paced novel. I like that there's several mysteries that we're trying to solve. I like that both characters are very, very much involved in the mystery, but they're also very, very different. I think that this world is very, very interesting and very, very complicated, but I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely more of like a very interesting novel. I never read a novel quite like this before, but I think it's perfect to read now because it is set in like it's like very, very water based, and it is a really, really fun summer read. But I do like the strong dynamics between the siblings. I think that they are going to uncover more answers. But the world is also a little bit complicated, so that's also fun to kind of dive into. But I really am liking both characters a lot equally. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to reading, and I'll update you guys when my event's over. Bye, guys. Hey guys, Lori here. It's the next day. It is June 13th. Between last night and this morning, I did wind up reading a little bit. I wound up reading The Vanishing Deep. I'm now on page 254. I'm really intrigued like where the story is going to go. It definitely took a very, very interesting turn. It's a very, very unique novel. One that kind of mixes fantasy and contemporary in a really, really interesting light with a really cool underwater setting. It's also very, very much set in like a mystery world. Like there's a very, very strong, actually several strong mysteries that are kind of guiding this book. It's dual point of view. I'm really, really liking it. Also, last night I did wind up watching three things after I put my book away for the evening. I watched one episode of Curse, which I'm growing to like a little bit more. I do really like that show. And then I decided that I am going to finish Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm on season 5, so I have like 3 seasons to catch up on. Last night was the series finale. So it got me a little bit more motivated. I always love those cast of characters, and I restarted rewatching Good Witch, so now I'm on season 1 of that. That is just a lighthearted show, and I think I saw season 1, so I've never seen anything beyond that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go do my nonfiction reading for the day and my Skillshare class. It's supposed to rain all day, but it's like nice now, so I might try to sneak in a bike ride before it rains. But since I didn't wind up doing any of my school planning yesterday, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to try to anyway. Hopefully the rain holds out and I can do it outside because it's pretty outside. But yeah, that's my plan. I'll check in with you guys when I'm done with my nonfiction reading for the day. Bye, guys. Hey guys, Lori here and back. It is about to pour, but I am sitting outside while I can. But I did want to say that I did finish my bike ride, and I read a little bit more. Well, went on a bike ride. I read a little bit more of Winter. We're finally where most of our characters are in like one space, and I've kind of been waiting for that. I love the group, the dynamics of all those characters together. We're still missing a couple, but like that they're back together, and I really don't remember. Like I know how the book ends, but the little details. It's been a while, so I'm really liking my reread. And I also did get up to page like 275 in The Vanishing Deep. Still really liking it. Definitely some of the mysteries are not like the world is kind of being fleshed out a little bit more, and I'm liking that. And I think the characters are kind of more on the same page now, which I am really liking, which is really enjoyable. But I'm going to take the next couple of hours, and I'm going to kind of go through a couple of the books. This is one of them that I've kind of got over the past couple of months before COVID that I never wound up utilizing in any of my classes, and I'm going to kind of take some notes and kind of do some planning. So that's my plan right now, and I'll check in with you guys when I start reading again. Bye. Hey, Lori here, I'm back. I just want to say that I did actually wind up finishing planning. I actually finished the book that I was working with before. So due to COVID, it's really unsure what the fall is going to look like. So I started this week hoping that we would be back in the building, but now I'm a little bit unsure. But the books I'm kind of playing with is The Theater Machine 1, 2, and 3, and these are just activity guides. So I'm kind of going to go through these. I probably will work tomorrow if I'm being honest because I did miss yesterday. But yeah, so that was kind of what I focused on today. Tackle the rest of this book tonight. This has not been my best 2 weeks of reading. I'll be a little bit honest. I've been a little bit stressed out due to everything that's happening in the world and COVID and stuff. It's very, very stressful to be a teacher right now because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know, what will potentially happen for a school year. And I know for me, I was very stressed out when we did go remote and it wasn't like planned, and it couldn't be planned obviously, but I feel like we had a whole summer to prepare, and I would much rather had that time to kind of think about it. But I still have like 3 weeks or 4 weeks depending on when we go back. So I'm going to kind of use the next couple of weeks to kind of build up 2 curriculums, but I'll probably use tomorrow as more like a resource day and kind of try to finish at least this book that I'm working on. These will kind of be the ones I'm going to look at tomorrow, I think, and kind of like pull as much resources as I can. And then I'll probably go and kind of make like a potential plan for in the building and out of the building. Sorry if this is not super interesting, but this is just my life right now. But yeah, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to go read a little bit about Vanishing Deep, and then I'll check in with you guys. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here, I'm back. It's almost 6 o'clock. I did actually wind up playing a little bit of Animal Crossing, working out a little bit, all the fun things. And then I was like listening in on like a phone call with the DOE, which has me no answers, but I feel like I learned a little bit, so that's helpful. But in the interim, when I was on that phone call, I did wind up reading up to like 304 in The Vanishing Deep. It definitely got very interesting. The book is very intriguing. It talks a lot about life and death and grief and letting someone go, and then there's also the mystery with like her parents and her sister. So there's a lot of like moving parts in this book, but I'm definitely enjoying this book a little bit more than I liked Bored-Eyed Queens. I think her writing style is getting a little bit tighter. Her settings are getting really, really unique. I like that this is kind of a mix between contemporary and fantasy. I wouldn't say it is a fantasy novel, but it has like elements of that, especially with the gods that they're always talking about. But I'm really liking it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to kind of try to tackle the rest of this. I'll probably update you guys when I read about 50 more pages and let you guys know my thoughts. But my goal is to finish this book today before I go to bed. So I'm going to go back to reading and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys, Lori here. It's about 6:51, and I did actually wind up getting up to page 360 in The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Charlotte. I'm right at the tail end of this book. The way this whole book has worked is it's like taking place over like a 24-hour period, most of the book. So every chapter has like an hour countdown. So we're in the final hour of this book, and it's very intense. A lot of stuff has happened in the last like 25 pages that really has changed the game for this book, I'll say, because it's gone through a lot of different iterations in this book, and I wasn't necessarily sure what I was expecting from this, but I'm really enjoying it. I've said this before. I read Boarded Queens, and I liked it. I didn't love it. I felt like there was a lot of competing elements, and it wasn't a fluid read. This one I really am liking. I'm enjoying it a lot. I think I like it a little bit more than Boarded Queens. But I love that this book is focusing on female friendships. I mean, sisterhood and being sisters. I think that that's a very, very important relationship. I will say there is romance in this, but it's definitely not the heart of the story. Like, I would say it's definitely like a subplot. But I'm curious to see how this book ends. So I'm going to go wrap it up, and then I'll come in and give you guys my final thoughts. Unless I feel like I need to say something before that, because I have about like 100 pages left. So I'll be back when I'm done, or if I have to tell you guys anything. Bye. Guys, I'm back. I did actually wind up finishing The Vanishing Deep by Astrid Charlotte. I actually wound up really enjoying this book. It definitely took me most of the week to read it. I started this Tuesday, I think, and it is now Thursday, so it took me like 3 days. I will admit, my anxiety had peaked a little bit this week, so I wasn't as focused on reading, but I wound up really, really liking this book. It definitely is a step up from Boarded Queens. I thought her world building was much more solid. I liked the dual point of views. I thought that the setting was really cool. I like that this book really focused a lot on grief, sisterhood, and the ending was really not what I was expecting. I didn't really expect the ending. I thought the last like 50 pages was a little bit rushed. I think the pacing at points was a little bit wonky, because the end I felt like I really just wanted more information, but I did like the hour, like the structure, so I think the pacing could have been tied up a little bit more. Again, this is an arc. I got this way back in October at New York City Comic Con, so it's possible the pacing was increased like as the final book came out, but I wound up really enjoying it. I wound up giving it 4 stars, and I'm definitely excited for her next book, which is called League of Liars, I think. That's coming out next year, so I'm definitely going to be picking that up. But yeah, so my dad's actually reading the 2 books I want to read, and he's going to choose, because I have a hard time making decisions. But when he makes that decision, I'll let you guys know what that is. But yeah, talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Decision. So the 2 books I was kind of torn between reading is Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears by Taro K. Mahiji. This is a book that I picked up at ALA in January, and this is the most recent one in the Rick Riordan imprint novels, and this follows, I don't even know, let me see if it says, best-selling author Rick Riordan presents Tandra Clarence Sperling new take on the Mexican legend of the crying woman. So that's really, really cool. And then Touch of Gold by Annie Sullivan is the other one. This I'm actually on a blog tour for book 2. So I do need to read this, but my dad wants me to read this one first. So I'm going to pick this one up first, and then hopefully that this weekend I'll be able to tackle that one. But yeah, it's been a bit since I've read one of the Rick Riordan imprint novels. I'm really excited. I really, really love books like this, and I just love learning about more cultures and more myths, and I really love the Percy Jackson series, so I'm really excited to dive into this. I'm going to try to read a little bit tonight, maybe like 50 pages or something, not like a whole lot, but I do want to at least start it, and then we'll see where tomorrow takes me. So I'm excited for that, I think. But yeah, so I'm gonna go start this. I'm gonna probably read about 50 pages, and then I'll probably like update you guys on my thoughts, because the only thing I know is it's about the crying woman, and it's a Mexican culture book, which is really, really exciting. So I'm gonna go read this, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Guys, Laura here. It's about 8:30. I did actually wind up reading the first chapter in Paula, I think it's Paula, it's a girl. I think it's Paula Santiago and the River of Tears. But it's very, very fun. It's like, you know, I say this, and it's such like a weird quirk of mine, but I love when books have chapters have titles. I think it's just a very, very fun way to like kind of frame your story. Maybe it's back from my Harry Potter days. I don't know. But it basically follows this girl named Paula. I think that's how you say it. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they live in Arizona. She has two friends, and they're kind of hanging out near the river, and that's kind of where the myth of the crying woman is kind of perpetrated. And Paola's very into science, and she doesn't like mystery. She doesn't believe magic is real. Her mom is kind of the opposite. And there might be some developing feelings between our three young characters, which I always like. But yeah, I'm really liking it. I read about 10 pages, but I think I'm gonna stop reading for the night. I've not been reading a lot this week, but I am motivated to keep reading this tomorrow, which is good. So that's gonna be my plan for tomorrow. So I'll update you guys when I wake up in the morning. Bye, guys. Hi guys, Lori here, I'm back. It's almost 8:10, and I did actually wind up last night watching an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and an episode of Good Witch, which was actually super fun. I'm really happy that I'm diving back into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I always really liked the Marvel properties. I don't remember why I stopped watching. I think it was the year I started working and I ran out of time. But I'm really liking this setup. It's a little bit different from their past season, so I'm really liking that. And I'm really liking rewatching Good Witch. It's been about 5 years since I've seen season 1 again, so I kind of really don't remember what's happening, but I know a general premise, so that's exciting. I also last night did get up to page 13 in Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears. Still really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna make this my goal today, but I'm gonna go do my nonfiction reading and my Skillshare class, and then I do actually have to go to the doctor today for my ears, but hopefully that won't take too long. So yeah, that's my plan of attack, and I'll report back when I'm done with those things. Bye guys. It's Lori here, I'm back. It's about 1:14. I did actually want to going to the doctor, running a couple errands with my mom, fun things. I did some shopping for the potentiality that we will be going back in the fall, but we really don't know. But I also did wind up getting up to page 72 in Paula Santiago and the River of Tears by Taylor K. Maninji. Sorry, I'm not that good with names. It's very, very a fun read. It does deal a lot with political stuff. I will say there was an incident in a police station that was just horrific. It was really, really bad behavior from cops, and it was really interesting to see it from this young character's point of view. But also it has to do with a lot of cultural stuff, which I'm really enjoying. But friendship is at the heart of the story as always. And it starts off with one of Paolo's friends going missing in reference to a possible myth and legend. And it's really, really fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm only 72 pages in. But because we actually did wind up running a bunch of errands today, I said I was probably going to do some school stuff. I don't know. I might. It just depends on what time I'm going to get back. I am going to go for a bike ride while it's still nice out. But yeah, so I am going to try to make a little bit more progress on this book today. That's my goal. I would love to finish a majority of it today, but we will see what happens. I have not been feeling my best this week. I said that in this whole week of vlogging, but I am feeling a lot better, which is good. So I'm going to go get ready for my bike ride, and then when I come back, I'll give you guys my thoughts on my book. Bye, guys. Hey, Lori here. I'm back. It is almost 4:13. I actually did wind up listening to a little bit more of Winter by Marissa Meyer, which is my audiobook right now. It's a super long audiobook. I think it's 22 hours. So I have listened to, I'm up to the 13th hour mark, which is actually pretty good for that audiobook, which I'm really, really liking. I'm liking the part that we're at. And I also did get up to page 91, chapter 9 in Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears. It has definitely taken an unexpected twist, and I'm liking that. There's also a few more characters that we're getting. Some supernatural stuff is starting to happen. It reminds me a little bit of Arusha, just a little, not a lot, but structurally wise, it reminds me a little bit of that. So I'm going to get back to reading until I have to go get dinner, and then I'll probably update you guys again. Bye. It's Lori here. I'm back. It is about 5:30, and I did actually wind up reading to page 130 in Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears. Still really liking this book. I definitely like structured middle grade. I said this before. I really like the Percy Jackson series because it's very much a structured middle grade, and it has a very, very solid plot. I'm also loving that Rick Riordan has started an imprint and is encouraging other authors to kind of dive into their own backgrounds, because I think that Rick Riordan can only do so much with his proficiencies in Greek and Roman and other type of fantasy, mythology. So I really like that he's having other authors have the opportunity to kind of explore their history and their myths, because I think it's very, very fascinating, and I'm really liking it. I've read quite a few. I read Stormrunner, I've read this one, and I read a couple of other ones, but I'm really liking the dynamics between the characters. I've always said I'm a big fan of a trio of characters in books, and that is definitely the dynamics that I'm seeing here, even though one of the trio is like missing. But I also like that it does have a couple of different settings that are being kind of explored, which I'm also really enjoying. But yeah, it's very much a fun read. So I'm gonna keep reading. I have a lot of YouTube videos to watch, and I'm gonna kind of do that because I've not had the best reading week. I'll be a little bit honest, as I've talked about throughout this reading blog. But I do hope to make some progress. I also am on a lot of blog tours starting like in a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna kind of take this week and to kind of tackle those. But I do want to make some progress on this. I'm just got to page 130, so I'm gonna go back to reading, probably clean my room a little bit, and then I'll update you guys when I read up a little bit more. Bye, guys. Guys, I'm back. It's up almost 7 o'clock. I did wind up getting up to page 162 in my read. Still really enjoying it. I think this is a nice mix between a lot of different types of mythology stories. Definitely an adventure story. I like the trio of characters. I like that they're kind of adventuring through a magical world kind of in their world. It does deal with a lot of political stuff. I will say that, like, um, they talk about immigration, and they talk about border walls. Like, there's a lot of stuff hidden in this read that I'm real not hidden, but like not it. It's very very well done. It's very very cleverly done. But I also like the culture that is being explored in this. I think that the myth's really interesting. And there's a lot of mysteries that are kind of being solved simultaneously. I think they're all eventually going to kind of connect. I really do like Paolo as a character. I think she's a very, very fun narrator. And I like the dynamics between her and Dante. Also, Paola is a very interesting character because she's very, very obsessed with science. So she's really critical of anything supernatural. And it's just funny seeing her in this fantastical situation because she's like, no, this is not real. This is not science bound. And then you have Dante, who's all for being the hero and going out and saving the day. And their personalities are so opposite. I'm really liking that. They also found a group of characters right now that I'm really enjoying the dynamics that they're all having. But I'm so happy that I'm actually reading like quickly. But the last couple of days, I couldn't read more than like 50 pages without getting distracted. So I'm gonna try to read about at least. I'm gonna see how far I can read. That's what I'm gonna do. I do definitely want to watch my episodes of Good Witch and Agents of Shield tonight because that's what I've been kind of doing, watching 2 episodes an evening. But I might actually wind up reading a little bit later because I don't have to wake up early tomorrow for anything really, which is actually kind of good. So I'm gonna go back to reading and I'll update you guys when I can. Bye. Guys, Lori here. I'm back. It's actually just 8 o'clock. I did actually wind up getting up to page 200 in my read. I'm kind of debating if I want to finish this reading vlog today because it is Friday. But I feel like I didn't really give you guys enough content this week because I really didn't do anything because I wasn't really feeling my best. So I think I'm going to finish this reading vlog hopefully early tomorrow. I don't think I'll finish it today. I definitely won't. But that's kind of my thoughts right now. But I did wind up getting it to page 200. I'm going to read until I get to page 250. Still really, really liking this book. I think it's definitely a nice balance between a lot of the middle grade I've read recently. And it does really remind me of Percy Jackson and that kind of world, but also Arusha. I always like when kids are kind of trained to fight in like medieval ways because I think, like, as I always tell my students, I think battling is really like is an interesting tactic in reads. So I'm really liking that, and I'm liking the different environments we've been in this read. Like, started very very much as like a contemporary fantasy novel, and then it kind of went into other aspects which I was really intrigued by. But the diversity in this read is really really important, and I said this in an earlier clip, it does really talk about immigration and it talks about a lot of other things, and I'm liking that. It also has some really really good quotes. I've been tabbing. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the tabs honestly at the end, but I do have quite a few pages in my little Inkling design planner that has no quotes in it. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of tab them and kind of choose my favorites and put them in that planner because right now I've been a little bit lacking with that. So I'm going to go read to page 250 and then I'm probably going to stop reading for the night, I think. But yeah, so I'm going to go do that and I'll update you guys when I'm done. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I actually wound up reading like a little bit more. So now I'm on page like 212. But I decided that I'm going to save the rest of this for tomorrow. So I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning and let you guys know what my plans are. I'm probably going to do a little bit what I did last week, like kind of spend almost Saturday doing some errandy type stuff. I have to do some filming tomorrow. And I was I don't know what I did to my legs the day before when I was working out, but I think they're very, very sore. They're very, very tense. So I'm going to try to fix that tomorrow. But my goal tomorrow is to finish this. So that's my goal. Hopefully I'll be successful, but I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning. Bye. It's Lori here. It's almost 9 o'clock. I am going to make my to-do list. That has been what I've been really liking to do recently. I've loved making to-do lists. I've been using my Owl Crate planner, and I've been making a to-do list for every single day. Sorry, I have a little bit, and my allergies have been being annoying the past couple of days. That's why I sound like I have a cold. I don't. I just have allergies. But I am going to make my to-do list. I think I'm going to probably film a few videos and kind of organize stuff. But yeah, I'm going to go do that. Also, last night, I did wind up watching a couple of episodes of The Good Witch. It's just a fun show. It's very, very lighthearted. I always like shows about magic and witchcraft, and this is just like not like a crazy show about magic and witchcraft, but it has a lot of like elements of shows that I like. And I also watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched one episode of that. I'm really, really liking that show. I'm so happy that I picked it back up again. And I have to look into seeing Inhumans. I don't think I ever watched that, but I don't know if it's connected. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research. But so that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go make my to-do list and then start doing it and just see how long it takes me. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm back. It's almost 11 o'clock. That took actually a lot longer than I thought it was. I just scheduled all my posts for the next 2 weeks. And it took a while because it takes a while to kind of go find everything, get your reviews, and kind of put everything together. I don't do the longest book Goodreads reviews, but I do try to make them short and succinct. I also started thinking about my fall TBR. I was really good last year at reading a lot of fall themed books. I'm trying to do the same exact theme this year. But there also are quite a few series that I've just kind of fell off on, to the point where there's 2 to 3 books in the series. So I'm kind of thinking about what I want to do. I think I have a meeting I'm going to. I have to go meet with someone that I promised her I would. So I think we're going to meet. I'm not sure. It wasn't really made clear to me what we're going to do, but she did ask to meet with me, so I'm excited for that. After that, I think I'm going to attempt a bike ride. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tackle Palo Santiago and the River of Tears. I have a lot of YouTube videos to catch up on, so I think I'm just going to kind of sit outside and just kind of tackle the rest of my book, and I'll kind of come in and out and let you guys know. But so far, I'm really, really liking this. I like that it definitely has a lot of different Percy Jackson tropes kind of tossed into it, but I love it, the diversity. I love that it kind of tackles minorities' relationship with the police. I think that was something that I've never really seen in a middle grade book before, and especially a science fiction and fantasy read. I just really wound up liking that. I thought that Paula is still a really, really fun character. And I'm really curious to see what happens to all the characters in this read, because they are so different. And there's a lot of mysteries in this book that are still kind of unraveling. It's also a book that has a lot of parental involvement in the first 50 to 60 pages, and then that parental involvement kind of vanishes. And I'm always curious how the parents deal with that, because some parents just pretend nothing is going wrong. Other parents are where are my kids? So I'm kind of always curious to kind of take that into account. But I did wind up reading up to page 214 in this. So I'm going to go see if that meeting is going to happen. And if not, I'm probably just going to dive into this book. But talk to you guys in a little bit. Bye. Hey, it's Lori here. I'm back. I am sitting outside for a little bit, but I did wind up getting up to page 236 in Palo Santiago and River of Tears. Paula. I'm going to say that wrong. I apologize. But I really am liking it. It's definitely getting to a critical part of it. She's in a very different situation than how she started the book, so I'm kind of liking that. It's also becoming a little bit more fantastical. We're meeting a lot more magical creatures inspired from the Mexican culture, or just general cultures in general. I'm liking that the setting is very, very different from how we started out this book, and this is definitely more of a self-discovery book for this character than I was really anticipating. But it still is very, very focused on friendship. and finding yourself. And there's a lot of elements of this book that I am really liking. I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break and go for a bike ride with my dad because it's still pretty nice out. And I do want to read about a couple of chapters in winter because it's such like a massive audiobook undertaking. But then I'm going to come back and I'm probably going to try to tackle the rest of this book. So I'm going to go do that. And when I come back for my bike ride and read a little bit more, I'll update you guys. Bye. Back, I did wind up going for a bike ride and I wound up tackling a little bit more of winter, which I'm really liking that book. It's been a while since I read it, so I'm really enjoying that. But I did also get up to page 256 in Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears. Still really, really liking it. It is very much a description book right now. Like, we're learning a lot about the world and the settings. So I've said this before. Sometimes we're really, really descriptive books and sometimes get a little bit lost in the details, but I am really liking it. I'm loving the diversity. I'm loving the characters that we're meeting, and the settings. I think it's a very, very fun read. And she has found a new companion for this part of the adventure that I always love. I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to spoil it too much, but I really am liking it. So I'm going to go try to read up to page 300 and then I'll report back and let you guys know my thoughts. Bye. Hi guys, Lori here. I'm actually here to wrap up this reading vlog because I did wind up finishing Paulo Santiago and the River of Tears by Telo K. Majidi. This book just came out or is about to come out. This is one of the Rick Riordan Presents imprint novels. I wound up really liking it. I didn't wind up loving it. I think I really like the diversity of this read. I like how this book tackled modern day Texas lifestyles, which does deal with a lot of immigration politics and does deal with a lot of other things. And I thought that was a really important side of this book. I thought the myths were really, really strong, and they're myths that I didn't really know anything about. I was really fond of the character. I like there was kind of 3 characters we were following. The settings in this book changed a lot, which was really captivating, but the pacing I struggled with a little bit. I didn't feel as connected to the writing style as I wanted to, and it was a longer read, and I felt like I got a little bit lost in the details. I've said this before, but overall I wound up really liking it. I love the diversity, and I love what Rick Riordan is presenting in these novels, and I wound up giving this book 3 stars. Also, earlier in this reading vlog, when I wasn't feeling my best, I did wind up finishing The Vanishing Deep by Asher Shalett. This one I got from New York City Comic Con in October. This one I got from ALA. I wound up thinking this was a solid mystery adventure story. It was like a nice balance between like contemporary but also light fantasy. I thought the mystery was really, really fun, and I was really, really captivated. This book had very, very strong dynamics of sisterhood, mystery, science. I love the dual point of view. This book was more of like a typical action adventure story with a middle grade twist. I really love the myths with it. They were both really, really fun. So I'm going to go start my next reading vlog. It is actually Saturday, so this will probably be the next one will probably be like a week-long reading vlog again. But yeah, these were the 2 books that I wound up finishing, and I also did make quite a bit of progress on Winter by Marissa Meyer, which is my audiobook that I'm currently listening to. So yeah, let me know in the comments what are some books that you have been reading, and I'll talk to you guys later for another vlog. Bye guys!